Getting your comic book all wet with soap and water is completely safe, right? All right, I have a comic book cleaning video for you today, and it's really just a series of kind of observations, a little bit of a trial using a product called Immacuclean from Immaculate Comics. I've purchased some pressing boards and everything from them over the last year or so, and had been paying attention to some of the wet cleaning items that they have available, going through some of the videos from their channel, and just trying to see if something like wet cleaning a book is something that I want to get into. I ended up purchasing their starter kit. You could probably go through and get a lot of the additional items off of Amazon, but I really wanted to just kind of do the right thing and also kind of invest a little bit into what Immaculate Comics is doing. So I wanted to go ahead and purchase the starter kit that had everything I needed, and I'm glad I did. Honestly, everything from the measuring tools to the pump, obviously the Immacuclean concentrate came with everything except distilled water, which so it was everything that you needed to get started. And I took a book. I took an older book that I didn't really care about, Marvel feature number 4, and this one I ended up cleaning. And I think even here in the light, you can see it's pretty bright white. Obviously, further away from the camera, you're not seeing the details. So I have a series of kind of before and after clips, and as I go through the process of wet cleaning this book, you can see in the photos, the video, and the commentary, just kind of what the process was to wet clean that book. So I'll let you kind of be the judge as far as whether or not you feel like this product is something that you might want to look into using. I'm kind of at the point in my comic book CPR and cleaning journey. I'm still in kind of the experimentation phase. Like I'm still trying different things, trying different erasers and different approaches. So this is certainly another one of those videos. It's not a how-to. It's really around kind of assessing whether or not this is going to be yet another tool in my comic book cleaning arsenal. So I hope you enjoy this sequence of photos and videos of me cleaning up Marvel double feature number 4. And here we go. Okay, so this is how you basically set up your Immacuclean cleaner. You have to measure out 5 to 7 milliliters of the concentrate and mix it with 190 milliliters of distilled water, which I did here, and kind of shake it up into this little pump bottle that came with the kit. And so I put all that together. And then this is the book, just kind of giving you an idea of the level of dirtiness and just how unclean this book was. We can get into a little bit of a zoomed in look here. Really, really dirty. Again, typical dirt of this era where the dirt it's not just surface dirt anymore. It's really almost part of the paper. You can see here right along the spine, just extremely dirty. And I just feel like a book like this, and you're taking erasers to it, you're gonna end up damaging the book, or you're just gonna be there all day long. So here's a bit of a zoom back. Again, some trouble spots right around here, around the coupon, the details around the mailing address and so forth. And again, towards the top, just again, typical of what you'd see, the dirt around the borders, kind of left, right, top, certainly in the lettering as well. And then on the front, there wasn't too much dirt that I could see, but around the tray, there was a little bit. I was scared of going into some of the yellow and the colors, but definitely there's some surface dirt on the front as well. Okay, so I just cleaned basically half of the book. Didn't take too long. So here's the couple of pads with tons of dirt on it. So it definitely got dirt off, which was great. And down here you can kind of see a little bit of the side-by-side right in here. So I used a backing board just to kind of as a marker. So this is the dirt, obviously, that I did not clean, and then this is the side with Immacuclean. Now, I don't know if it was just I had the pad too damp or something, but there is some moisture residue or something that got into the page or moved dirt around. I'm not exactly sure. It is still a little damp, so it does have to dry there. But I am concerned a little bit in that spot. However, if you just look at the bottom, it's definitely cleaner. It's not ultra clean. It doesn't get everything off. So that is something. It's not a silver bullet or a magic wand that's just going to clean it, but it definitely takes a very dirty comic book and cleans it. Now, I vigorously went right over this whole half of the book, regardless of color, and I think it did again lift a lot of that surface dirt right off. Right. I honestly feel like I would have to dry this out, press it, and then probably go with an eraser and then give it one more once over. It's just not, I don't want to say clean enough. And again, that's not the purpose of it. Actually didn't get in there. So I might try a little bit more in the lettering because I am curious to see if it lifts up the red. But right here, you can kind of see that that's where I stopped right in there. So it's definitely an improvement. So this is the side I cleaned. This is the side I did not. It is definitely an improvement. I just don't know how much I would have to continue cleaning on the book. So let me see if I can get the dirt out of the lettering, because that's a very common thing, especially when you're going to slab a book and you want it to be presentable. You don't want dirt in the trade or lettering. So let me try that real quick. All right, so just a quick little update of where I'm at here. So you've gone through 2 pads already, and I've ordered more from Amazon. Just it to me, like if you're going to go through the whole process, you're going to run through several of those makeup pads. I did notice definitely again that this is an improvement. This is a definite improvement if you're looking left to right of the dirt being lifted off the page. And I tried to stay away from the yellow area, but the right-hand side has gone through the cleaning. And again, looking at the lettering and some other things, I'm just definitely seeing an opportunity to keep working on the book, and then we'll get into the cleaning of the lettering itself. All right, so I really quickly went over this with a Q-tip, and this was provided in the starter kit, some Q-tips in those pads. So again, it's better, but kind of the same. I mean, if I were to look at it, I wouldn't know that I cleaned it unless I really had a before picture, because it looks like it should be cleaned again. So the first thing, I guess one of my first mistakes is I was rubbing a little bit too hard with the Q-tip in here, like really digging into the page. And because it is, this is a wet cleaning, because I was going too hard with this, you can see I started to pull up the paper. So right there on that letter T, you can see that the paper was starting to come up. So it's super damp right in there, and there's now like folding and things on that letter, and the little fibers in the paper are starting to come up, and they're so wet that they're starting to fold, and actually it's digging into the paper and also coming up. So that is something that I'm just learning about, is just how much pressure you actually need to put on the book in terms of the cleaning. I was like really like scrubbing like an eraser, and that is not necessary. So that was one of my first mistakes, is to, or lessons learned, I guess, is not to be so vigorous and aggressive with that as you're cleaning. With the pad, it's kind of okay because the pad is soft, but the Q-tip really, it just sort of grinds on the page there. So that's kind of the before and after. Again, not sold yet on using it. It definitely helps, but it's not the end all be all. So I think it's probably good for a first pass. But if you're working on a book that is this dirty, you probably do, if you really want it pristine, you're going to have to take several passes with this. And by passes, I mean full cleaning, pressing, the whole bit. So I'm going to keep working on it and see, go ahead and clean the rest of the book and see how it turns out. All right, so I think I didn't necessarily finish, but finished to my liking with this experiment. So I ended up using 3 pads here. They're quite dirty. And so here's sort of I guess, the final of the first pass. I went ahead and went over with the lettering with the pad. I think it looks a little bit better. You can certainly see on the T where I screwed it up with the Q-tip. So I think the pad is kind of where it's at. The Q-tip has got to be very, very specific. I'd have to do a little bit of research on how to better use that. But check out the top. Top looks really, really nice and crispy. And again, this is a wet cleaning, so any kind of curling or things like that, it's because the book needs a press now. But it definitely looks whiter and more bold than it did before. It's not getting out every speck of dirt, and I kind of got lazy and didn't really finish the edge here. But what I did is I went back through some of the areas with the lettering and just went again kind of aggressively with the pad just to make sure all of that was covered. I did not get in here with the yellow. I just stayed away. So there is some dirt there, as you can see next to the roller skates. Look at all these great prizes, huh? So this is a good first pass. So what I would do is I would probably make sure to finish my cleaning here, go through it, then let it dry out. I'd press it. Then I would come back probably with an eraser or perform the same thing one more time and then erase it. I'm not sure. But it definitely, especially as it's drying, it feels even whiter as some of the moisture is picking up. But again, not perfect. Still see a lot of dirt in here. Now, it could be because I'm using a low dose of the concentrate as well. So it's really quite a bit of water, more so than the Immacuclean concentrate. So that would kind of be worth another experiment, is upping it from closer to 7 milliliters instead of the 5 there. So really, again, much improved. I like it. I like it as a first pass, kind of a new thing in my arsenal to clean books. And we'll definitely consider it going forward. Again, I have some books that really just has a slightly dirty spine, and it just takes too long to sit there and erase everything, plus you risk damaging the book. Whereas going over it with the Immacuclean is pretty safe, and safe from my vantage point anyway, and easy because you're actually putting really light pressure on the book with the wet clean. Okay, so I did take one last pass. I let it dry a little bit, but as you can see here, it seems to turn up better on video. This is like really, really nice and clean in here. There's very little dirt in there. And I just decided, for the heck of it, let's just go over the yellow. And I think this is much improved. So we noticed there was a little bit of dirt there by the roller skates. It's still there a little bit right there around the typewriter. But again, I think it's improved. So kind of what I'm learning, and I did do a little bit more work on the spine. Some of it's just tears. Not much I can do about that. But it's definitely getting better the more I work on it. So again, that's where I feel like there needs to be a good balance between letting the book dry and then taking another pass at it. I gave the front cover kind of a once-over as well. So right in here is particularly tough because that crease is kind of like pulling paper. I don't know what it's doing to the paper there, but it looks like it's dirty, but that's just a crease. But I feel like it helped with the trade as well. Down there, I kind of went over that a couple of times. That looks pretty bright. So, and I just kind of gave everything a once over to, and I think that the gloss was maintained as I can angle the light there. So I don't really see any damage necessarily. So the difference between, I didn't get quite in there as good as I should have there on the end of Iron Man, the second end anyway. And there probably could have, I found myself giving it kind of a nice light once over on the cover, whereas on the back I was really moving the pad back and forth like I normally would with an eraser. So that's the difference. But I do feel like as the book dries, I was concerned there that right in here, I was starting to see some bubbling and some other dampness to the book, like if it was getting into the paper fibers. But once it dried, it cleaned right up. But I'm zoomed in a lot. I mean, I can barely get my whole pieces of my hand and my fingers in here. So I'm really, really zoomed in. And you can start to see those specks of the dirt. But zoomed out, obviously, it looks much brighter and cleaner there. So again, it's not going to get up everything, but definitely a big improvement. So I'm not going to press this book. I'll probably have to run another experiment where I would clean and press. But overall, I would say that I'm definitely impressed with its ability to get up. I mean, having to erase all of that over and over and over would drive me nuts. I just don't think it would be. I couldn't sustain that level of work unless, because the kind of book that you'd want to spend that time on in terms of value and improvement, you're probably pretty scared to work on it yourself. So you have to kind of balance. Like this book, I don't care if I ruin. It was a low grade copy anyway, really, really dirty. I think I improved it. Did I move it from a 4 to an 8? No. Maybe to a 5, possibly. I'd have to press it to really see, but I'll probably just put this back in the PC for now. But there you go. So that's my first experience with Immacuclean. I think it was a good first experiment. I'm not saying I'm endorsing it or recommending it, but just kind of showing you how I'm using it. And I'll continue to try it out. I might do some more spot cleaning than general overall cleaning like this, because I do have a couple of books with just a little bit of dirt, and maybe this would be a little bit safer than an eraser, but we'll see. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think, if you have any experience with this, or just kind of your general feedback, if the book improved or not. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Happy collecting, and see you next time.